I said, well, I'd like to do a lot more of these if they have me. He goes, well, we're killing you this afternoon, so you're not gonna make that one.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today we are going back through NFL history and the LAPD of television with today's amazing guest. Our guest today is a distinguished former All-Pro defensive end NFL player whose record of 2 safeties in 1 game remains unbroken, as well as an actor, screenwriter, director whose body of work includes Bumblebee, Land's End, and of course, Hunter. As of late, he can be found co-hosting the Sports Lounge on CRN Digital Talk Radio, and today he joins us to discuss this fantastic career. Please welcome Mr. Fred Dryer.
Hi, how was everybody today? Great, happy Sunday as it is.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Fred. How you doing in your corner of the world?
Well, we're speeding it up, getting ready to meet some fans and chit-chat a little bit. It's a great hot weekend here in LA. I don't know where everybody else is, but we're...
I'm in Florida in the Orlando area, so equatorially we're about the same temperature.
You're a little probably more humid than I am over here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sticky in all the wrong places. So Fred, our team's going through the chat room right now, pulling out the questions for you, and welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. While the team's doing that, I'd just like to throw this out. You had a fantastic career as an NFL player. You were doing the color commentary on CBS, and it seemed like you were in a really good spot to go forward into that. What inspired you to pivot into acting?
Well, I had been going to acting class for about 5 years while I was still playing for the Rams. So when I got out of the playing part of football, CBS said, "Listen, you're hot off the presses. We want to put you to work." So they did for that 1 year, the '81 season. So I did like about 14 shows, 14 games, and. The overview was, it was a lot of fun. I knew it, and there was a big improvement ceiling there for me that I recognized that I was interested in. But it was still the same NFL schedule that I had been used to all these years. And as the season wore on, and you're traveling, you're in hotels, you're in airports, and I could just foresee this whole thing unfolding where, as they did, they offered me another 3-year contract after that season was over. And I had to make up my mind about what I really wanted to do. And what did I want to do? I was still young enough to do whatever it is I chose to do. So I just said, I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to go back to acting class. So I went back to acting school, studied with Nina Foch for a couple of years, and then started and was being sent out. I got an agent, and they started sending me out on readings for movies, TV shows, whatnot. And I just decided that that was probably the route for me. I felt more comfortable, I think, doing it. It was more interesting. There was more of a cornucopia of things to discover about yourself if you decide to be an actor in this town. And at the same time, I'd already traveled the NFL stuff. So it was, for me at that time, it was an easy choice.
Absolutely. And it seemed like you had been kind of a charismatic, a bit of a cut up. I really wish maybe there is. I don't know. Is there actual footage of the antics of Scoops Brannigan and Cubby O'Switzler, or is it just pictures?
The real heartbreak of Lance Rensel, my great friend, who was hired by Dick Schaap at Sport Magazine, and he came over to my house and he just said, I've got this idea. So we have to go see the movie Front Page. And that was Walter Matthau and Jack
Lemmon.
Jack Lemmon. Thank you. And he says, we gotta go see this. We gotta go see this because I have an idea. We can rent costumes, roaring 20s costumes, and then go cover in New Orleans the Super Bowl. And I said, gee, that's a real dangerous idea. Let's do it. So So the upshot is that Sport Magazine, Dick Schaap, God bless him, he's just the greatest. He didn't know anything about it until we showed up in New Orleans, and we, of course, left LAX kind of, I don't want to say drunk because that's irresponsible, but we were drunk, and we were in our uniforms, our Roaring 20 uniforms, and it was just the best. And that was a stunt made for contemporary times. If anything was that thing resonated as it was, and there's a whole week of shenanigans and hijinks that was just that not too many people know about, but it was fantastic until the commissioner sent for us. Dick Schaap, he sent Dick Schaap, said, Dick, get those guys down here, you gotta talk to them. So we were down here in the Marriott Hotel on Canal Street, and and we had a whole cavalcade of NFL people on our asses, and we got down there, and the place was packed, as you well might imagine. Super Bowl in New Orleans, and we got there, and Dick Schaap says, there he is over there. The commissioner's over there in the center of the room over there. You see him over there? I said, we see him. Don't worry about it. So we worked our way through, and we got up to him, and the commissioner, who was talking with a group of people, looks up and sees us, saw me, and then motioned to me to come over. And so I kind of like butted in to a conversation he was having with like about 20 people. And he wanted people to know that they had seen the last of Cubby and Scoops. And so I said, well, and of course, you got to go with it. You just can't get up to Ghost that quickly. So he says, well, we've got probably one more day of real good reporting left in us. He says, no, you don't. So Commissioner Rozelle just, that's about it. We're not going to have anything to do anything more about causing all these disruptions. And we just kept pleading our case. Our disruptions, this is what rallied people. We had so many people, so many reporters that Lance and I had known over the years. He had played 10, 12 years. I played 13. We knew all the people, all the press people everywhere, and they loved it except for a handful of people. But it was one of those things that comes along in a million years, and it just ignited. And it was really, really, really a lot of fun.
It absolutely seems like it's become a locker room legend in both journalism and in NFL history. And yeah, absolutely.
I actually should confess that we should update that. Lance is not doing too good right now, but we should have updated that and brought it up to speed. Certainly with the computers and all the technology we have today. That's a shame, actually.
Well, anything is possible in this digital age, absolutely, for certain. But Fred, on behalf of myself and our audience, I have to thank you for your talents. I have to thank you for your professionalism, and I have to thank you for your plays on the field and the performances you brought to all your roles. I mean, you've had a wonderful career, and it's just been great to view it and all the facets. Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks very much.
And on a personal note, I really adored your take as Sergeant Rock on the Justice League Unlimited cartoon.
Oh, good. Did you? I got a lot of feedback. That was a sleeper for me. I went out for the job and they just said, yeah, okay, you're the guy. And then it kind of, as I was actually almost finished shooting my stuff, I kind of got what it was.
Yeah.
And I just, I said, well, I'd like to do a lot more of these if they have me. He goes, well, we're killing you this afternoon, so you're not going to make that one.
Well, every cast was like, "Hey, Fred Jarrett, Sergeant Rock." Like, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. And we've had the Justice League cast on with Andrea Romano, so absolutely great job on that. And Fred, we're good to go to audience questions. So thank you for indulging my curiosity. And let's go ahead and see what our audience has to say.
All righty.
All right. Here's our first one from Alex, who wants to know, what was it like starting your own production company after Hunter, or maybe that actually came before.
Well, actually, no. It came during, while I was shooting the Hunter series. That started in '84. I left the Rams in '81, so there's a little hole there. But yeah, the light bulb went on for me when I realized, this is the avenue I want to go down. This is what I want to do, and we got hot, and the show just took off, and so therefore we rode those coattails for a while.
Nice. Very nice. Alex, great question to start us off with. Thank you. And here's one from J&E. What was it like to work with the Jane Russell on Hunter in 1986?
She was great. She was a lot of fun. She made fun of herself, like I think a lot of people do. They find themselves in a situation where they're really looked upon as, you go into a set and they look upon you as a icon of some sort.
Yeah.
Whether it's, for me, it's sports and Hunter. You're lucky in this acting career to get a opportunity to have a role so powerful like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was great. She had a terrific attitude. She was a little along in years when she did our show, and we did it out in Malibu, and Tony Caruso, the great character actor. I don't know what to tell you how to go find him, but Google Tony Caruso, great character actor. We had he and Jane and myself and I think the director were having a nice conversation in Malibu, overlooking the cliffs while they were setting up shots and stuff. And both of those two people were reminiscing about passing it back. Remember that, Jane? Remember when in 1931 and things like that?
Yeah, because they both came from the old Hollywood system.
It was
contract
old
players.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
What's fun about that is that today, not a lot of people working in the business know what old Hollywood was.
Yeah.
And so we wind up having a lot of long lunches and talking about stuff. And this was in the 80s. So it's 30, 35, 38 years ago. That we're talking about all this. Doesn't seem possible. My daughter's 38. She was born in '84, and that was the year I got the television show. So I went from the Rams at CBS color commentating, and then I went back to acting again, and here we are.
Right on. There you have it. J&E, wonderful question. Thank you for that. What do we have next? Here's one of Alex. What do you like to do in your spare time nowadays?
I don't have a lot of spare time. I work here with Mike Horn and getting ideas together and getting promotions together for expanding the talk show that we do on sports. It's Fred Jarrett and Mike Horn, doing great sports coverage of the country. Yeah. Especially here in the local California area. But we spend a good portion of time here. Mike's got his business here and these other shows that he puts on, he produces. But it's
gonna have a dozen that it's a real workhouse there.
Yeah, no, it's great. They do a great job. And Jennifer Horn, of course, she's the host on 870 The Answer every morning here in LA. And of course there's politics, and then there's sports. But the main thing is, you ask what I spend my time with, is sitting in wonderment as to why the politic of sports is ignored as such as it is. It's one thing to talk about politics, whatever side you're on, or however you want to do it. There's enough of that going on. But the real upshot of it is that we've got things going on in sports here that are outrageous. Starting a while back when we were covering the World Series with Houston and the Dodgers in the stealing of signs. That owner stole signs. The owner of the Houston Astros. So we started talking about that, and we were just wondering, well, how is it that that's able to happen? And let's get to the bottom of it. And so we did our share. We dug deep, and we've got truths and instances that are a bevy of interest for the person that really wants to dig deep and talk about it. And funny thing is, not a lot of people here want to talk about that.
Until something explodes, that somebody does something and really didn't talk it out with the team or the organization like they probably should have.
Or says something stupid along the lines of, it's okay to put things on the floor of the basketball game. And all that. This is a wholesale outrage, and the funny thing is, you're not even welcomed to talk about it. People don't want to talk about that, so we do.
Yeah, makes it wax nostalgic.
It's all a part of what the conversation is or isn't, and otherwise, why even have a show? I mean, you're like a lot of other shows that are good, but I don't need to talk about batting averages, compared to a Mickey Mantle 57. It doesn't interest me, it doesn't interest Mike, and we have a easy breezy, rolling, fast-paced show that is it's a lot of fun to do. We're finding a little more of a pathway into what is it that we really want the show to be about. And so we're always looking at that and getting ready to expand our show to 5 days a week. We do it every Wednesday. And then of course it goes on different platforms, multi-platforms. And so what we're doing now is getting ready to expand it to 5 days.
Great.
And we're looking forward to that.
As are we, very much so. That's fantastic. Alex, wonderful question. Thank you for throwing that at us. And here's one from Al. What was the best advice or quote said to you throughout your acting career?
Get off the set. It's a joke. What? Repeat the question again.
What was the best bit of advice that you ever got in regards to acting?
Best? Well, be prepared. That's the old Boy Scout motto. I hold true to that statement all through my youth, all through my younger adult years, and my present day status here at CRN Radio. Be prepared.
That'll do it. As Milton Berle said, security is knowing your lines. Al.
True.
Yeah. Al, great question. Thank you for that one. And here's one from Janine and Elizabeth. Do you think your NFL record will ever be broken?
I'm sure you're referring to these the safeties, 2 safeties in one game.
I would assume so.
Yeah, that's October 21st, 73, LA Coliseum, Green Bay Packers.
In the same quarter.
We had, yes, I've just been notified off camera here, like they do in all
We
good
heard.
production. Excuse me. Yeah. So, do I think it'll be broken? No, I don't. There seems to be too much platooning. They platoon everything, nowadays. Will there ever be a 300 game winner in pitching in baseball? No, not unless he's 50 right now and he's getting ready to win a couple more games. But you're not going to get that in sports today, as sad as that is. And plus, the players today have no idea who I am, no idea what the record is. They don't know anything about anything other than the fact that they're all talking about they want to be paid. So that's the big deal nowadays. Is you got to pay me. Well, we just wanted to stop you and talk to you about that play you made. What? No, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about getting paid. So. Here we are.
There does seem to be a lack of understanding of the history of the disciplines, whether it's entertainment, comedy, the world I came from, or acting and football. Yeah, it seems I see these youngins today too. I'm like, you don't know about this? You should watch this guy. You'll get inspired by them, whatever.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. You see stuff. See, one of the main things is I was 12 years of age in 1958, born in 46. In 58, I went to the Coliseum to see my first Bear game, and that was the first year the Dodgers playing in LA in the Coliseum.
Wow.
So I had and that wasn't on the internet. Yeah. That was on local TV. Yeah. That was something that was happening. That had a great command of my attention as a kid, and fantasies. It filled me. I was alone a lot with my own thoughts about growing up into a sports culture here, and I'm really blessed that I was born in it when I was. I wouldn't want to be a teenager today. With all this technology that would rob you of the subtle moments in which the time was taken to welcome the Dodgers the way you wanted to welcome, instead of falling prey. This is the danger of all of this visual that we're getting here, all the technology, is we're dangerously close to being mind-numbed robots. We're not left alone with our own thoughts and ideas enough, like I was as a kid and in my age group. But it's a testament, I guess, to paying attention, and that's the one thing else you got to do is you got to pay attention.
I was talking about this with my nephew the other day, and I was just like, your generation, you have wonderful access, but it's kind of robbed you of your chance of discovery.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. And Mike, you want to make a note of that? He's nodding.
Keep it. Put it in your back pocket. That's yours.
So yeah, I was 12 in 1958, and that was a big deal. There was a lot of things going on. And then through the arc of history, how it passed over as I got older and had more experiences. Whether it was and how you put right next to one another Koufax, and the Dodgers shutting out the Yankees 4 straight in the '63 World Series.
Yeah.
And Kennedy being murdered. And my father dying suddenly. All that happened in like 3 months.
Wow.
It was all condensed, and it had a big impact on me, and it for a while. This is self-analysis, and I don't know anybody better to do self-analysis on me than me. So, and that was probably one of the things that kind of pushed me aside to where I really enjoyed my own thoughts. You're talking about a lot of people in life, who are looking for answers and stuff. And one of the things that I fully respect were the men that I was associated with when my father died. The men in my life were the coaches and the principals and the neighborhood guys, who looked after all of us, and had a great had a great heart and understood what the hell was going on with the culture as it was falling apart. And I would say that, Kennedy being murdered in front of all of us was a big one, and it was tough to get over it. And I don't think this country's gotten over that death yet.
No, it was the end of Camelot.
It was the end of a lot of things, and but as such as it is, we have to move on and roll on, and that's what we do.
And very much so. Jane and Elizabeth, thank you. That question took us some interesting places. And roll another one. And here's one from Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Do you have a favorite historical site, either nationally or internationally?
Well, I loved Yosemite. My father, my parents, and my uncles and aunts went on fishing treks, camping treks to Yosemite, stop off in Hawthorne and put on a little teardrop trailer, and then hit the road, go up to Highway 395, and make a circuitous route around the Tehachapies, and then bang, you're in Fresno, then you go due north, and then you're not only in Fresno, then you're in Mammoth, Yosemite. And so all of that stuff had a big impact. Again, I was 10, 11, 12 years of age when all this stuff was going on. So that's probably one of the good ones. Not that there isn't the typical standby, the Pacific Ocean. As a kid, this was paradise in Southern California in the 50s and for part of the 60s. But it was just a fantastic time to grow up in LA.
Right on. Anonymous, great question. Thank you for that one.
Thank you.
What do we have next? And here's one from Jason. If you were to write a book on your life as an athlete and an actor, what would the title be?
Get off the set. No. If I were writing a book, well, I don't know that. That's something you have to give. That's one of the ways that you come to finding what it is you want to write about, and that is, it comes off of a great title. Sometimes the title gives you a lot of the stuff, contents wise, you would like to have in the book. But I'm not there at that point in time yet.
All right. So we will stay tuned. Thank you, Jason. Good one.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah.
What do we have next? And here's one from Alex. What was one of your most difficult challenges in running a production company?
One of the toughest things is getting consistent, uh, getting consistent flow of product into the company so you can distribute it.
Yeah.
And if you're not distributing anything, you're not kind of in business. You're always in pre-production. You don't make money in pre-production.
Mhm.
So you have to just do the damnedest best you can, and start. Whether it's your optioning material, whether you're whatever it might be, coming up with an idea, script. That for us was one of the toughest things there was to consistently do.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I wish Land's End had gone further. I was really rooting for you on that.
Yeah.
Good project, great cast.
Yeah, we that was one of the beauties. It's still a heartbreak for us and for me, being in Cabo when we did. It's one of these things like you're sitting there. Where were we? We were in a valley somewhere, and we saw a picture, of a typical Hawaii scene, surfers and girls, and we said, we got it. What does murder or intrigue look like against that backdrop? So we started thinking about it, and next thing you know, we were on a plane to Cabo San Lucas. It's something that had never been discussed by a lot of people before. Nobody had made a movie or a TV show in Cabo San Lucas. So we just decided to hop down there and just got off the airplane, checked into the Palmilla, and kind of like started walking around, had some tamales and some cervezas, and we spent 3-4 days down there. And when it was over with, we came back with an idea.
Yeah.
And which is the fun thing about production. The earlier question was, tell us about your, what's so tough about it. It's tough if you have an imagination, you're helped greatly. And if you're not afraid just to say, literally, right this very minute, we got to go to the airport. And we did that a lot. And that was the excitement of it all, is having like-minded people, really say, hey, let me call the wife and tell her we're going to Mexico, And so that's the fun part of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so that Land's End show was a gold mine. And as soon as we hopped off the airplane, I just said, well, I know who has to play Willis P. Dunleavy, and that's Jeff Lewis.
Wonderful actor.
Oh,
absolutely
God,
wonderful actor.
He passed a while back, and we had Tim Thomas.
Who's a funny sumbitch.
He was good, and then we had.
He had some kid named Bryan Cranston on for a few episodes. I wonder what happened to him.
We cast Brian. He's supposed to be, this guy's supposed to be an Italian guy, And I said, gee, this isn't a New Jersey guy. This is a wise guy, and let's see what we got here. So we cast. We set forth in bringing in 3 or 4 different people that were all very good. You could go either way on them. And then Brian comes in and goes, yeah, what is this? And I said, just, I don't know. You tell me what it is,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you the answers to the test. Here, just do what you want to do. And he did. And before he got into the parking lot, we hired him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, it was a lot of fun. He was great. And of course, all the things that's happened to him since then is all a part of the fun of all of this, It's happening for me. It's happening for somebody else too. That's one of the best things about this industry, the entertainment business is. It's like a fast fuse, and that's what the Land's End was. It's a fast fuse, and it just went and went, and we had a great time talking with our cast. The cast, Pamela Bowen was the head of security for the Westin Hotel down there. The idea is my friend Jeff Lewis is caught for plane stealing in Mexico, and he sends me a lifeline saying, you got to get me out of here. I'm in jail. So Fred Dreyer was being an ex-cop. What we did is we made it so it was Hunter.
Yeah.
Because the two are real close together. We made it like, okay, Hunter has to get on an airplane and go down and see a friend of his. Yeah. And so we get him out of jail, and the whole story, the whole series, the reason for the series was to tell the story of friendship. And it was Willis P. Dunleavy and who was always getting in trouble somewhere. Tim was the transient surfer.
Yeah.
And Pamela Bowen was the lovely head of security for the Westin Hotel, and we had a lot of intros to people, and some stayed around for a couple episodes, some didn't, and the great fun is always joking with like Tim. I said, Tim, this is we don't know, but we're just Jeff and I were thinking. Jeff and I were thinking about how to kill you. He said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? I said, well, we're probably a little top heavy in the salary department here, and your character is kind of stupid, and so what we're going to do, we're probably going to dump you. We're going to take you out to the river. Wait a minute. So we had him always on his skates every time we were getting together from wherever it was. We would gather ourselves around.
Sure.
And the director would say, okay, let's read our lines. So they whip out our lines. Excuse me while I whip this out. And it was our lines, So we'd start doing our deal, and it dealt with Jeff and Tim and me and Pamela, and so there was a big scene there, a lot of dust up, and so Tim starts off reading his lines, and then right away I say, stop just a second. Are you going to read it like that? He said, well, what do you mean? I said, I just, I shouldn't say anything. And he said, no, tell me what it is. No, I go ahead. Let's just start from the top. Tim, it's on you. Go ahead, stop from the top. And you start to read, and it screwed him up. Yeah. So he was reading it. He read the next paragraph, and then later on, we stopped him. I said, hey, Tim, let us read the scene with the characters that we have that are in the show, and then maybe you can go over there next to that fence and sit there while we figure out what we want to do with your role. It was a constant beating, and it got to be the point where he was so good. Tim was so good. Yeah. Anyway,
it's all good. Alex, that was a great question. Took us on some fun roles. I think we got time for one more. Let's see if we can go on a really fun one. And here's one from Hal, who wants to know: do you still eat 70 raw egg yolks a week?
No, that's apocryphal. I don't think there's any possible way that I would be alive. Do you think you could be alive if you eat 70 eggs? It's not like, Stallone, put 4 or 5, I guess. What did he drink in the morning before he went out and ran? He ate the eggs and then went out and ran.
Yeah.
No, I don't honestly, I don't know how a lot of this stuff gets developed. I really don't.
Just weird things end up in everybody's Wikipedia page.
Somewhat. Yes.
Somewhat indeed. So now there is also a listing on there that says that you gave up you're kind of off red meat and you sort of stick to a white meat diet. Is that part of your diet still, or is that another apocryphal?
Well, excuse me. I do not eat. I don't eat a lot of red meat. I never have, actually. Even when I was young, you always think that you're going to eat this red meat to get big. Well, I mean, you don't. And it's just that I discovered that while everybody else was lifting weights in Mike's backyard, we were literally trying to put on weight, and everybody was eating meat all the time.
Yeah.
And I said I don't think that doesn't sound right to me. I think you could as long as you eat lots of good food that makes muscle, then you shouldn't have to worry about anything else other than doing just that.
Yeah.
So
there you have it.
It is.
Fred, it's been an absolute delight. You got any final words for our audience before we go backstage?
Well, good. Maybe we could do it again sometime, and
I'd love that.
And then continue the gamesmanship, as it were.
And the Sports Lounge is on Wednesdays now, and soon to be a 5-day-a-week show.
Yes, it's the Sports Lounge, crntalk.com. And it's with Mike Horn, myself, Fred Dreyer, and it's a lot of fun. And we have some insights, and that's what could you want more than that?
I don't. Hey, works for me, as your character would say.
There you go.
Fred, it's been an absolute delight. Once again, thank you for joining us at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. It's been my pleasure to serve you. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thank you for your great questions. Hope to see everybody again soon. Until then, bye-bye, take care, and remember, friends, smiles are free, so don't be afraid to spend them often.